What's happening, flam flam? Anyway, long story short, the motorcycle search did not last very long. I know I hyped up the whole scenario, adventure, sport, touring, whatever, but back on a Harley. Just like I knew I wouldn't, you know. But with that being said, also, we're officially a Dyna Bro. Got ourselves a Fat Bob now. That's kind of like the bastard child of the Dyna world, but a Dyna's a Dyna. I didn't realize this when I bought it, and I did do a lot of research, but apparently not on the right stuff. But this is like a one-off bike on a lot of stuff. Fat Bob wide glide, front forks, similar width. So I can do like fairings and headlights of that sorts, but yeah, it's kind of like one-off on everything else that you want to get. Which is fairings what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that Dyna Bro fairing, you know. Memphis Shades is the only, yeah, this thing's ugly. It's gotta go. I don't even think it's for the right bike anyway. And it's got forward controls. Don't like forward controls. I want mids on this. That's also a challenge because you gotta swap inner and outer primaries in order to get the one with the linkage that goes through it. But anyway, that's something down the road. I can live with forward controls for now. You can do like mid mounts with like pegs and no shifter or brake, which I may do that anyway. But for now, we've got ourselves some Moto foot pegs for this because I don't like those standard ugly fat rubber ones. And so we're gonna swap those out. Also, I want you to look at this. Got short shots on it already. It ain't no 2-in-1, but it's better than Stalkers. But also, got those Olens adjustables on there already too. That was a selling point when I went and chased this thing down. I'm all about that. So yeah, we're gonna swap these bad boys out and see how she rides with that. Cause I rode it about an hour home on the interstate, and I don't like those other ones. So, all right. Got the peg swapped. I don't think the gold necessarily goes with the Sedona orange, but they do go with the matching coilovers. So boom. 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 Not only that, I have a set of 4-inch rise moto bars on their way also that are gold. And I'm not a really good color combination, but oh well. So I think it's gonna set it off. That only leaves me with a fairing. And with this being a one-off bastard bike that it is, I'm limited on what I can use with the Fat Bob headlights, which is kind of the whole reason I got this thing, because they're, you know, they're their own little special entity there. So I have a Memphis Shades Road Warrior fairing, Doug's Annihilator. I think that's about it. The only ones that I like anyway. The rest of them are like quarter fairings, bullets, or just god awful ugly, and I don't want them. Or there is another option, but I'm not a fan of it. Being that these share a wide glide front end, I can go to a single headlight, do away with the duals, and then I can run a wide glide fairing, which they're a lot cheaper. But if I'm going to do a plug and play headlight swap, I'm going to have to buy a headlight bucket and harness, and then a headlight. I don't know, it almost comes out to be about the same. So I'm debating on just going with the Road Warrior, then keeping the duals, because like I said, I do like the duals, or just sucking it up and going to a single headlight, which if I do that, I even have to do a 5 3/4 inch headlight. I can't do a 7-inch, which is Harley's larger headlights. So I think if I do that, I'm going to be downgrading no matter which way I go. So I'm probably just going to stick with the duals, suck it up, and buy once, cry once kind of thing. Yeah, that's a bit depressing. Ay, mi familia, or whatever they say. So it has been a minute, and I apologize for the delay in content, but I have been on a shutdown for a few weeks. I've tried to do a little bit of editing to get some of that Road Atlanta content out for you real quick, and that kind of made probably some shitty videos, but it's out there for the world to see now anyway. So Anyway, we're going to do a small amount of powder coating today. We've got somewhat new fat bob to me. And I don't know why. I didn't really do it on purpose, but when I bought it, like I said, it had the Olin adjustables on it already. So I kind of just went with the same color scheme when I ordered my pegs. So like I said before, this is kind of a one-off Dyna model. Most of the wide glide stuff will fit the fat bob, but all the other Dynas are kind of like in their own little thing. But anyway, in order to run mid controls, you have to change your inner and outer primaries, because a street bob, a super glide, and maybe even the wide glides. I'm pretty sure the wide glides, yeah. No, the wide glides are forward control bikes. Anyway, any mid control bike, the shift rod goes through the primary for your gear selector. With factory forward control models like the wide glide and the 2010 and newer fat bobs, they don't. So in order to do mid controls, you either have to buy a kit, which are like $1,500, $1,200, $1,500, or you got to do your inner and outer primaries and all that, which is damn near the same price. So instead of that, right now, because I think I can fab my own mid control kit, but I don't have time right now. But to soothe my soul, you can mount the mid controls and use just pegs. You don't have to use your shift linkage or brakes on any of these, which is what a lot of guys do, especially for people that put miles down. And I am long-legged, but I rode this bike an hour back home, and without floorboards, I'm really not too fond of it. So I ordered a set of the Harley pegs for this thing, or mounts, and you can see under here, maybe you can, maybe you can't, the slots for them, and it goes on there somewhat like so. Anyway, it's gonna look weird. It's gonna have two sets of pegs on there, but I had plans on doing some iron butts with this thing, or practicing for them anyway. So I need some kind of mid mounts to help my old decrepit hips out. So that's what we're gonna go with. Anyway, long story short, I'm gonna powder coat a few parts, and I ordered some gold. I can't really remember what kind of gold. The only thing I've ever powder coated is either matte black or a gloss white, which has turned out great, but this has a wrinkled black finish on there. So unless I take it off, I'm gonna powder coat it over it. So I'm not expecting like a high gloss finish. But long story short, I'm gonna do my horn cover, try it first, see how it looks, and then I'm gonna end up ditching this linkage when I go to a mid-control setup. So eventually I'm gonna end up just powder coating these to test it and see how it goes. And if all goes well, then I'll just start throwing the gold to whatever else I can. But yeah, so I don't really have a big setup. I've got an oven that I bought just for powder coating. I don't have it hooked up yet. It's at Cody's house. We took it there in hopes that we were going to get a setup started down there and we could start doing a bunch of different powder coatings. So I bought a large toaster oven, and that's what I've been powder coating all my small parts with, and it works great. But it's a pain in the butt setup sometimes, because you got to run your compressor, you got to run power to your gun, power to your oven. Good thing about this one is once you set it to 400, it's not coming off. Like, it ain't gonna time out on you or anything like that. So I'll turn her on 400 to get her preheated. That gives me time to prep the parts and then shoot them. And of course we do have a little bit of wind right now, and I do shoot everything outside because I ain't got nothing but a yard barn up here, and I'm not going all the way down to the garage just to do that either. So anyway, we've got a couple hours to spare. Got the bike up here, and I think I'm gonna shoot a couple pieces of parts here and see how it turns out. May turn out like shit, I don't know. Like I said, I ain't never shot anything over a wrinkle finish. It's always been like a smooth surface anyway. I may end up taking it to work and not powder coating it, but sandblasting it before powder coating it. Or powder coat it, see how it turns out, and then go to work and sandblast it because it looked like shit. So who knows? Started shooting in 2.7K and it is eating a battery, but I don't know if y'all can see this or not. it ain't taking very well. So I think we'll have to do away with the black wrinkle before we can do some gold. But I have a spoon I think we're going to powder coat. We'll see how it turns out. Alright, so the powder, as you can see, it is melted down, got a gloss finish now. But the powder is called transparent brass. So I don't think it's going to cover any other powdered finish. I think it has to be whatever base is, and I think it's going to be like a multiple coat finish, unfortunately, which silly me, you know, should have prepped anyway, but you live and you learn. And with that said, oh shit, man, we about to eat shit. Y'all saw it here first. This is my powder spoon. This is what I spoon all my powders into my gun with, which this is my setup. Gun, I think it's like 5 to 8 pounds PSI, so we got a regulator on there. Eastwood hot coat. This is the PCS 250 dual voltage box, and my little cobalt compressor that I use for powder coating. But yeah, it's a nice little setup, easy setup. And then, like I said, I just pull my tray out, my metal tray, and I usually ground through it, or if it's like a freshly finished surface with like my spoon, or if it is a freshly raw bare metal surface, I ground through the tray. But if it's like my horn cover, I'll ground through the item itself if it has a spot or a clean surface material to ground to. But anyway, I don't think this is going to work. I do have a gloss finish on there now, which is better than the wrinkle. I'm not really a big fan of the wrinkle, especially like on the primary or the clutch cover or starter cover or whatever. When dirt gets on a wrinkle finish, it fucking stays on a wrinkle finish. I'm not a fan of that. But most of my stuff's usually chrome, and I'm not a fan of that either, because I hate polishing, and I just suck at it because I don't clean my stuff. Even if I get caught in the rain or dirt or whatever, it just stays dirty. It gets cleaned like twice a year. So this bike is clean now. It's gonna stay clean, hopefully. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to take this piece to work, sandblast it, get it to raw metal, then shoot it. I'm gonna let this cure for another 3 minutes, pull it out, let it dry, and then I'm gonna do my spoon. See how my spoon turns out. I don't know if y'all can see it because of the sun, or maybe it's my glasses making it look weird in the camera, but this is just a ordinary Japanese Onita. Anita. I don't know if y'all watch Need for Speed or not. Dear Anita. Anita. Anyway, I'm gonna try to coat this spoon with the silver finish that's on there. Alright, half the video is gonna be in like 2.7K, and the other half's gonna be 1080, because this shit killed my battery, and I ain't know about that life. So, horn cover. Turned out like shit. Does have a mild gold hue to it, but prep your metal, people. Don't be lazy like I am. So I'm gonna let it dry for a minute, then we're gonna do the spoon. I'm wasting like a bunch of powder on this one, which is all right. It's like Amazon special, and that may be another reason why this one ain't doing too well. But it has coated everything in gold. Yeah, my wife's already fussed because I got gold powder all over her picnic table, like we ever use it anyway. All right, so we're gonna let that dry, throw it back on the bike, because I think tomorrow we're gonna be riding. I'm gonna try to link my Cardo to my Ace Pro and use it as a speaker instead of my Purple Panda, because it's got like a mile-long cord. This one's Bluetooth. So we're gonna see how that goes, and I haven't rode in a few weeks, like almost a month. So I'm gonna try to get some ride time in, and I'm excited. Throw the old Dyna Fat Bob down. I'm gonna do some testing tune tomorrow too, try to get my rear shocks adjusted. The dude that I bought it from was like 110 pounds. So I need to adjust the preload and everything a little more to cradle 220 pounds a little better. So yeah, let's wait on the spoon. All right, folks, it's official. We've got a brass spoon. Y'all can see it or not. So when I say transparent brass, they really mean like this shit is super clear. So it's like a multi-coat thing. It definitely does better with like a silver finish or a raw steel finish versus like the wrinkle black stuff. So we're going to attempt to do the cover, and we may do a couple coats because we know what one coat does, so we may do a couple coats to see how it does. So we're going to try that out and see what it'll turn out like. She is gold. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a ground that it was just not working out. I should have double checked the ground before I started coating the first time, because usually when you get the end of the gun too close, it has a an electrode that runs through it, I think. And when you got a good ground, you get close enough, it'll arc off between whatever you're grounded to and the gun. And usually that's how you know, and obviously it'll coat really well. I didn't double check until I was starting to shoot the second coat and found out that I didn't have a good ground. So all right, as you can see, second coat turned out a hell of a lot better. You can still see where it will try to bleed through in small cracked areas. I don't know if the camera's adjusting or not. And of course you can still see my boo-boo right there. I don't think a third coat is going to cover that up, but we're going to do a third coat anyway to see if it'll brighten it up, because as you can see, it's still got like a silver tarnish behind that. This side coated real well, and I guess I'm not really shooting this side very well because it's not. Yeah, it's still hot, obviously. But yeah, this side's got a dimmer finish to it compared to the horn per se. But yeah, I think that third coat might help that. I'll concentrate mostly here and see if we can bring that out. I do hate that I made it fuck up like that, but what are you gonna do? It's just a stock intake cover anyway, so if all else fails, we'll just go to the garage and grab up another spare. All right, after a bummed coat and then 2 decent coats over it, this is end product. I don't know what happened here. Got like a scratch or a pause in sealant or something, but overall, not bad. All right, fam, we have just switched beers. I don't remember what it is now, but this one's a good one. Something to do with Johnson City Brewery. An ale of some sort. Anyway, we got this damn train switching back here, causing a ruckus. All right, guys, if you're watching this, I have been delayed on videos, and I want y'all to know I apologize. Work has been wild. Y'all know this, I've talked about it. With that being said, I did bring up the fact that I may want to rebrand the channel, and I'm 100% positive now that I'm going to. Y'all don't care. I don't care at this point. I know I originally started this channel to be motorsports based, which majority of the channel will be, but we do a lot of traveling, and a lot of that traveling is outside the motorsports realm, especially when the family's involved. I don't get to bring the car that I want to, the Bronco that I want to, or the motorcycle that I want to. I've been contemplating for the past few weeks while I've been on shutdown on rebranding the channel, something around travel vlogging and motorsports. So anybody watching, just be prepared. We're going to do a channel name change. Content's not going to change. We're still who we are. We're always going to be who we are. I'm not changing for anybody. I don't care what you are or what you say. So we're just going to change the name, and I think that'll like bring in more viewers based on the content that we are showing. So it's going to be more travel content, more rebellious, raise hell, full throttle kind of content. And I think that's going to be good for the channel, good for us. That's not going to mislead anybody to thinking that we are something different than we are. That's just what we do. We want to travel a lot. We've got weekend trips that we take every weekend. We like to raise hell. We like to do dumb shit. That's what we do. I'm a grown-ass man, 33 by age now, and there's nothing keeping me from being a child at heart, you know? Cheers to that. And with that, let's call it a day, you know? Let's end this vlog where we're at, and let's prepare you for what it's about to be for the week of DC and Virginia Beach. We're just out here trying to live, you know? We're just out here doing what we think's best for us and taking day by day, night by night, beer by beer as we go and raise a little hell and fuck off, you know? You don't like it, fucking suck it. And here we go, baby.